said that if the child molester is any good, the molestation feels great.
Who said that?
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah said, if the, say that again? Go ahead.
She said something along the lines, Oprah Winfrey said something along the lines in Finding Neverland.
Oh, okay. Finding Neverland was a documentary about all those kids Michael Jackson molested.
That's correct.
Right, go ahead.
And during it, you know, Oprah is sitting with the 3 Edomites or whoever he allegedly molested, right?
Right.
And he says to the devil, she says to the devils, if your molester is any good, or if the child molester, if your molester is any good, the molestation feels great. Like you feel like you're a part of it.
If a child molester is any good, you're okay. Now, does she mean physically, or does she mean the manipulation?
And she means like you don't feel like, she said, because she said she precluded it with, you know, they tell you, you know, the idea of molestation is, you know, you're thrown up against a wall and you're raped. She said if your molester is any good, molestation feels great. It feels great, you know. I don't like to say it, but you know, getting your penis grabbed when you're 7.
I got you.
And with that, can we use that to, you know, go into like the psyche of the Christian, you know, Black Christians, etc., who say, or with child molestation going on the way it is in the Black and Hispanic community, can we use events like that? Where like this is a leader, allegedly Black people, Hispanic people, and she's saying things that, you know, a Black woman would say to her daughter if, you know, she said this boyfriend came and raped me or molested me, like you're hot in the ass and stuff like that.
I got you. Okay, what she said definitely is symptomatic of the culture of child molestation. The culture of child molestation, which comes from the white Christian church, which of course is pervasive in the Black Christian church because Black Christians are mimicking white Christians. So let's go into that later. I'll give you that also. Let me see that dagger up there. This is a good knife. I might need that one right now tonight. All right, so now, what was I going to ask you? If I can, am I jamming you up by taking it off the wall? Let me know. Is it okay if I take it?
Oh, that's fine, sir.
Okay, go ahead. We'll go into that. So we'll go into the Finding Neverland. You want to have a breakdown definitely about that, about Finding Neverland. You want to have a breakdown about R. Kelly. Right. You want to have a breakdown about the 2 brothers that got shot. I forget, find those cities where it was 2 Judite brothers that were shot by the police, unarmed Black men. And of course, the district attorneys in their individual cities decided to not press charges. All right. So you want to take that out on the street. Always, of course, in New York, you want to bring up Rikers Island and what's happening in Rikers Island, because everyone's life is affected by it because so many brothers are there. You want to always try to hit on that in New York. All right. Go.
If I could real quick too, sir, on the topic of Lent real quick, like it's an excellent breakdown. If I could, sir, on, you know, the mark of the beast, and schizophrenics online who have internet connections say it's the RFID chip. You know what I mean? And drug addicts say it's RFID chip, where, you know, they're saying one man's going to give the command and everyone has to take this mark to either serve God or serve the devil.
Right.
The Pope gave an order to indulge, and 1/3 of the human population had orgies, committed adultery, got high at the Pope's command. Now, if that isn't zombie apocalypse, doomsday, and they all put stuff on their
mark their foreheads.
Yeah, like
that's
like
like
exactly. Everybody's in control by one man. Like that's
give him my hand, because what he's saying is absolutely true. Let's get into that too. You'll bring that out again later. Let's go into Lent and the correlation between Lent and the mark of the beast, the correlation between Lent and Easter and serving Satan, and the correlation between Lent, Easter, and how pervasive it is when you want to leave the truth to be more accepted to people in the world. We'll go into the history of Lent and show you that's how it started and how easy something like that is to happen again and how it happens again every day. All right. Let me get the questions first in the room. Any questions in the room? Raise your hand if you have them, officer.
Just real quick. So, in regards to the topics that we just went over, like R. Kelly, things that they said it's good to bring them out in New York. Now, in the Bronx, I normally go to camp in the Bronx with Captain's car. We normally bring out like milk scriptures because we kind of just breaking ground there. It's a different kind of atmosphere.
Right.
Is that Zaahb to continue to do, or
okay? It's more so. Okay, it's kind of irrelevant in that you go there every week, right? So you're starting from the beginning, the milk scriptures. But of course, the people that are walking by you are seeing you for the first time every week. You understand? So it doesn't matter when you start a camp as far as what scriptures you bring out, because the people who have seen you are just seeing you for the first time every week. The people you see this week will not be the people you saw last week. So what you want to do more so than think about what they're ready for, what you want to think about is what will move them. You get my point? What will change their life? And there are definitely times when the color of Christ is going to change your life. I don't care if it's a camp you just started going to or a camp you've been at for 25 years. The color of Christ is absolutely relevant and absolutely moving. It's life-changing. It's devastating to find out that Jesus Christ is a black man, and in any camp. In a camp that's been there 20 years or 5 days. You get my point? Now, you want to just think about that. Think about when you go to camp every week. Now, of course, I'm talking about officers who are allowed to teach on anything they want, right? When you're young, you just take your tests. Of course, you need to learn how to teach. So you break down the milk scriptures so you can learn how to teach. You understand? But as you're an officer that can teach on whatever you want to teach on, you want to say, I want to move these people. I have to change them. I have to say something to them this week that devastates them. It changes their life forever. And you've got to think that before you go up there. So now, some cities are different. You're in a city and you see the people and you look at them and you kind of got to discern what they're going through, what's wrong in their life and what they need. What enemy do you need to destroy for them to be free? And you have to go out there every week and destroy that enemy. So, and that could be 1,000 different things. That could be the dietary law, the color of Christ. It could be child molestation. It could be prison. It could be, it could be the simplest thing in the world to the most complicated thing in the world, but it must devastate them. It must be a thing that they hear that they can't go back from because they heard it. It changes you. And definitely when I heard the color of Christ, it changed me. When I heard Jesus Christ was black, it was something like, what? Like, I can't go back. When I heard the Christmas tree scripture, I couldn't go back. It was a thing you hear and you can't unhear it. Right. You can't act like you didn't just see that and read that and watch someone read that from the Bible. And there are 1,000 things like that. And it could be on the Christmas tree. It could be on child molestation, prison, the color of Christ. You as a fisherman have to figure out what bait is going to work today and what bait works here at this particular corner. You understand? And once again, when we start a campsite, what do? We spend weeks, if not months, surveilling the campsite. Sitting in a goddamn Dunkin' Donuts in a car, watching the place. Brothers they're not in the UPK don't know this. They don't know how to do this as a profession. You see us in the Bronx, you see us in Queens, we have sat there for months in a car, watching and taking notes and giving reports about who's out there, who walks by, what police are out there. Oh, that's the same cop from last week. Yeah, this one cop, I talked to him last week. He said he's always out here. That's that vendor. He sells hot dogs right there. Yeah, that brother, he pushes weed right here every week. He sells pills right here. This cat sells weed over here. This cat got the heroin right here. They are here every week. Yeah, I talk to them too. They come out here all the time. We've done that for months before we turn on a microphone or open up a Bible. So by the time we start to speak, we know this place. We know what's here. We know what's out there. Now it's time to devastate them when you turn your mic on. I hope you understand. All right. Anything else? Right here.
Can't you incorporate the R. Kelly situation into Christianity and following the ways of Esau?
Yeah, that's the only thing you can incorporate it with, Christianity. Child molestation is traditional in Christianity. It's the mentor-mentee system from Rome and Greece. It's how education works in the Christian church. Child molestation is very integral in the education process in the Christian church. Having sex with the child you teach. It is absolutely Greek and Roman. It's from Sparta. It's how education happens from the Greeks. It's what a mentor is and a mentee. It's Pan. It's all part of what's that cat? Achilles learned. Achilles learned from being molested. And then he molested a young man who worked under him. I forget the fool's name, but you can go look it up. Achilles was molested by Aristotle. Who was the oldest one? What's the famous cat? Aristotle and another one. Socrates. Whichever one is the oldest one. He was taught by him, molested by him. Then a young man came up under him, and he molested him. And then when Paris killed that young man, which was a Trojan, Achilles killed Paris because Paris killed his young boy lover, who he was training and having sex with. Training, teaching, education, part of it was having sex with the man who was teaching you. So the Christian churches come from the Roman Catholic Church, and the Romans come from the Greeks, and the Greeks were pioneers in child molestation. So yes, R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, you can lay all of it at the feet of the Christian church. You can lay all of it at the feet of the white man. And any black man or black woman that has been molested, you can blame the molester and the Christian church, because both of them are culpable. I hope you understand. All right? Up front. Let me get online first. Anything online? Go.
Danny Jose Ravel wants to know who were the Hyksos?
The Hyksos was the name that the Israelites were called in history that lived in Egypt. The word Hyksos means shepherds or shepherd kings. The Hyksos was all throughout history, Israelites are called different names, much like we're called Native Americans here, or Negroes, or Hispanics here, right? In Egypt, we were called the Hyksos, or the shepherd kings. And of course, in the Bible, you know that the Israelites came into Egypt as shepherds, as herders of sheep. And because we herded sheep, the Egyptians gave us our own land, because the Egyptians hated the sound of sheep and hated the stink and the filthiness of cattle. They didn't want to be around it. We had cattle, so they gave us our own land so they didn't have to be around our cattle. It was a ploy by Joseph to get us our own land so that we did not have to dwell or intermingle with the Egyptians. Of course, these things are in the Bible. I can pull them for you if you need it. Young brother right up front. Are you a trooper? What's your question, trooper?
I just want to know how you spell
Hyksos. Spell it. Someone that can spell it for him.
Hyksos.
Okay, good to go. Next, online. You got a question in the background? Okay, go ahead. Online, quickly.
Next question is from Kevin Smith. Can I please get the precept on the 10 tribes coming over to America or to the Americas?
Okay, give me that in the Apocrypha, all right? When they dwelt in a land that no man knew. Go ahead.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13 and verse 40.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land.
So the history on the 10 tribes that were carried to America, first they were carried away to the Assyrian Empire. They were carried away to Assyria to serve out slavery there, much like the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, and the tribe of Levi were carried from Africa to America. The 10 tribes, or the tribes that you call the Hispanics, or the North American, the Seminole Indians, they were carried from the northern kingdom of Israel into Assyria to serve out slavery there. Then the Assyrians put heathens into our land of Israel, mixed with some Israelites to teach the heathens the ways of the people of the land. But the bulk of our people went to Assyria. But when they were in Assyria, this is what they decided to do. Is that what you're reading to me right now? When they said it is better, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Come.
Read it, please. Tell them where you are.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king.
Mm-hmm. That's the time. King Hosea was king when they were carried away captive. Go ahead.
Whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
You understand? Hosea was the king over Israel. Salmanassar was the king who conquered Israel. When I say Israel, I mean Israel, not Judea. He carried them away captive into Assyria. Go ahead.
And he carried them over the waters. And so
You get that point. Over the waters, meaning in ships, over the waters, just like the slave ships that the tribe of Judah, the Negroes, were carried from Africa into America on. They carried them over the water in ships. Go ahead.
And so came they into another land.
And so came they into another land. Do you understand? That's how similar the captivities of the Hispanics and the so-called blacks are. Not only are we blood related, but we have all served the same suffering. We have a common history, a common allegiance, and a common struggle, a common pain. This is their slave ships. This is when they went into slavery on ships, before the tribe of Judah went on slave ships. Keep going.
Verse 41. But they took this counsel amongst themselves.
But when they were there, when they were in Assyria, they made a decision in Assyria. Keep going.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
What did they do? What did they decide to do?
Leave the multitude of the heathen.
They decided to leave the multitude of the heathen. Well, as they were in Assyria in slavery, they said, you know what? We should leave. We should leave the multitude, meaning from being in the middle of all of these heathens, we should go. Go ahead.
And go forth into a further country.
And go forth into a further country. Does that sound familiar with Judite history in America? How do you relate it to the tribe of Judah in America? Captain. Microphone.
The tribe of Judah went to America on slave ships.
And then they went to America, but then some Judites decided to do what?
To stay.
And the others decided to do what?
Go.
To where?
To America.
After they were in America in slavery, some Judites decided to leave America and go to
Africa.
Liberia.
Liberia. That's what Africa.
Sierra Leone. Give him a hand. It's the same history. It's the same history. Towards the end of slavery, the tribe of Judah, with the help of what's that Benjamin? Marcus Garvey, decided, you know what? It's better that we go to Africa and set up Liberia and go set up Sierra Leone and go to the west coast of Africa. They thought it would be better there. They said, well, why stay here in America when we can get on ships and go set up Liberia and Sierra Leone? And of course, what happened later? Death and destruction and war. What happened to the northern tribes that left Assyria and came to the Americas? They became the North American Indians who were killed by the white man. They became the Hispanic tribes that were killed by the people from Spain. Death and destruction and war. Both sides, Israel and Judah, thought that leaving the place of captivity would end the curse. The curse went with them. Everyone understands? The curse went with them. Please, up front, you were reading.
And go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
They went to a further country where what?
Never mankind dwelt.
Where never mankind dwelt. What were the Americas called in the beginning?
The New World.
The New World. Why was it new? Because no man had been here. This was the land of dinosaurs. Pterodactyls and Tyrannosaurus Rex and what's that one with the long neck? Brontosaurus? Brachia? I used to know him. Brachiosaurus? Brother in the back, you know the damn dinosaurs. God damn it. Y'all don't know you don't know the dinosaurs. Nobody knows them. You gotta know the dinosaurs. God damn it.
There's one called the Triceratops.
That's the ones with the like rhino horns, the Triceratops with 3 horns.
Right.
What is the one with the long damn Brontosaurus, man?
Brontosaurus.
Come on now, these damn schools. Brontosaurus. That's what lived in America. That was here. Dinosaurs and animals, and that's that. It was the New World when Christopher Columbus came here. But pre-Columbian America was something that no one had ever lived in before. But the Israelites knew it was here. And they came to this side of the world. And when Christopher Columbus was here, they were already here. To them, it was completely new. It was just a place of animals. But they were here before Columbus. This is when they left Assyria and came here, and it's in the Bible. Any more?
That they might there keep their statutes.
Well, why did they leave Assyria and come to the new world and come to the land where no man dwelt? Why did they leave Assyria and come to America? Go.
That they might there keep their statutes.
They came here to try to keep the law. And you will find many artifacts of the Hispanics and the North American Indians trying to keep the law. You'll find the Los Lunas, the Decus Los Lunas.
The Decalogue.
The Decalogue, right, in Los Lunas, Mexico.
Okay.
And it's the 10 Commandments carved on stone. And it's old, Jack. Old. Way, way, way before Columbus got here. You'll find all kinds of, ancient Hebrew writing on walls and on tablets and everything. You'll find fringes that the North American Indians wore on everything with the border of blue. You'll find that all throughout North American Indian artifacts and their clothing. You'll find the headpieces, the headbands that the North American Indians wore to keep the crown of their head open because they tried to keep the law. That's why Gadites wore those war scarves, because they wanted to keep the crown of their head open to keep the law. They attempted to keep the law, but it is not that easy. Like General Yohana always taught me out. Brotherhood must carry a sword. You can't just intend to keep the law. You can't just try to be godly. You can't just try to love. You are going to have to fight to keep the law. As you're trying to keep the law, there's someone else trying to make you break it. Well, the North American Indians were trying to keep it, but they did not fight the people trying to make them break it. And they became a people, the people that wore fringes and wore headbands became a people that worshiped bears and wolves and totem poles and danced and thought it could make rain happen. When it's not raining because God is trying to destroy you. That's why it's not raining. He's killing you. That's in the Bible, where the heaven above thee shall become as brass. The Most High is not allowing it to rain so he can destroy you and kill you, because he doesn't like how you worship wolves and foxes and every other damn crawling thing. Go ahead.
If I may, sir, do you know what book it is? I believe I've heard it before. I believe Zaahb put me on this. There's a time where Gadites really went out and said, no, we had the Bible before y'all burned all of our records. You just gave us our records back.
Yeah, okay, there's a scripture in the Bible where it says that the tribe of Gad played the position of a priest in the New World. It might be right here. So the tribe of Gad were the tribe that took the lead in trying to make the 10 tribes keep the law, but the tribe of Gad decided it was better to just start killing each other. And the tribe of Gad became, I think, 72 nations and just went to war with each other until the white man gave one side guns and didn't give the other side guns. And then the British gave one side guns and the other side guns, and the Spanish gave one side guns, and the tribe of Gad thought it was better just to kill each other. And that's that. You understand? That's another very Israelite trait, to turn on each other instead of turning on our real enemy. All right? Am I good here or not? Any more? Go ahead.
Which they never kept in their own land.
The laws, they decided that they would go to the New World, the land where no man dwelt, to keep the laws which they never kept in their own land. They didn't keep them in the new land either. You can't run from this. You got a ton of fake Israelite groups that think that they will go over to Israel, and in Israel, that's where we're going to be righteous. The minute we get a plane ticket and go to Jerusalem, the second we hit the ground, when our boots touch the soil, the dirt and dust of Tel Aviv, we will not want weed anymore.
Right.
There is a nation of drugs in Israel. Huh?
Right.
That's where it comes from. That's where ecstasy comes from Jewish people who bring it from Tel Aviv to New York. And it spreads out from there. And when you go to Tel Aviv and when you sell your home and pack up your kids and go move to Israel or Dimona, Africa, the drugs will be waiting for you when you get there, and you're going to be a Jerusalem crackhead, a Jerusalem pill popper, a Tel Aviv meth head. You're going to do it there because you can't leave and change. You leave yourself. You change yourself. Then wherever you live becomes the
kingdom of heaven.
Give him a hand. I think I'm done with this. You have a question?
No, comment.
Please
Real
go.
quick, sir. On topic with fake Israelites saying they're going to go to Jerusalem and be righteous.
Mhm.
Me and Ashar were getting burgers, and we ran into this cat brother from Israel.
Mhm.
I believe, I'm not sure if he's the same brother, but I believe he's a cat that's like an up and coming rapper in Israel. He was hanging out with Amalek over
Right.
106.
Right.
And he's in front of us, like, yeah, I'm from Israel. He's in front of us smoking a cigarette.
Of
I said, if
course.
you're from Israel, why are you smoking a cigarette? He
Mhm.
started to get like just like crazed.
So
like,
wait,
foaming at the mouth.
so you asked him. You said, if you're from Israel, why are you smoking a cigarette?
Right. I said, why are you smoking a cigarette if you left to keep the law and stuff like that? You
Right.
believe in the Torah says you can't smoke.
Right.
And the Old Testament says you can't smoke.
And what did he say?
He said, I got a lot of stuff I got to take out of me. Like he was he was a Jewish Christian. Like it was no different. They don't
Yeah,
keep the
so
Torah.
so in essence, no one's perfect, right?
That's exactly what
Yes,
he said.
of course. Now he lives in
Jewish.
Israel. He lives in Israel, and his answer to why are you smoking is, well, no man's perfect. We all fall short of the glory of God. You know, none of us are perfect. Why don't you just stay in Brooklyn?
Right.
Just stay in the Bronx. Why pay all that money and transplant your whole self over to Israel to get high and smoke in Israel? And you fake Israelite groups, when you go to Israel, you're going to keep getting high. If you don't know that the UPK has prophets that live in it, you'll know when you're in Jerusalem, finding a street corner or a house to find weed and to get high in Jerusalem. How's it hard? Give him a hand. Yeah, yeah. A lot of fake Israelites love the idea of going to Israel, Europe, Africa, because the FBI is not there. And they want to molest your kids out of the reach of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And that's the real reason they want to go to Africa. That Nathaniel, I told you time and time again, is a homosexual. I don't know how I got to keep telling you that. He loves Africa because of the sexual freedom of Africa. And they want to go to Israel because of the sexual freedom in Israel to molest your children. Now, next topic. Go.
If I may, just to add on to what Osaban was saying.
Go ahead.
He also when Osaban asked him, so do you know that you are the real Jew and that they're not, because he's hanging out with Edomites, Amalek. He goes, yes, I know that I'm the real Jew, but they're still my brothers. We're supposed to love them. We're supposed to lead them in this world.
Lead him, huh? I guess that's what he's doing, right? You should have stopped and saw who was picking up the bill.
Right.
In the back.
Salaki, sir, I had a question about a topic. Basically, if I can get an understanding of bastard or basically Manzar, because the reason I'm bringing this up is because basically Northern Kingdom, and then I'm not sure how familiar you are with basketball. You're familiar with Blake Griffin?
God.
You're familiar with his son?
No.
Okay, Blake Griffin's son basically looks like a goddamn white boy.
What's the mother?
A devil. And
Okay.
so is Blake Griffin's mother.
Right.
Okay, now his son, I didn't look at the Zaahb. Blonde hair, pale skin,
Right.
probably blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what I try to do when they try to talk that color mess, I bring up him. The
Okay.
first thing they mention is he's a Manzar.
A bastard.
Basically,
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, who is they? Who are we talking about? Go ahead.
People usually, mostly people who hate the Northern Kingdom.
Okay, so you're battling someone who is against Hispanics being considered Israelites. And so you bring up, of course, Blake Griffin because he's light-skinned, just like a lot of the Northern tribe are, and they accept Blake Griffin as being black.
Right.
Malcolm X, who he was very close to Blake Griffin, and he is the blackity black chief of all blackity blackness, Malcolm X. And his name when he was a child was Red. That was his name, Red, because he had red hair and light skin. So you bring these people up, and what is their answer? That Malcolm X was also a mamzer? Yeah, you should do that, because they might faint. Because Malcolm X is the god of fake consciousness, and he had red hair and light skin and freckles. Go ahead.
If I may, now that I think about it, Malcolm actually is half white. His mother was, his grandmother was raped by a white man.
That makes good sense. I know. I don't know about that, but I know he had red hair, and I know his name was Red. Okay, so now your point is, what is a bastard?
understanding of it and how to battle it. Like,
Okay.
it's like, if I may, sir,
Go ahead.
it's like basically the way they're saying it of you, you're not Israel, but technically you are Israel. A bastard don't make you not Israel. A bastard means that under a certain period of time, if I'm not mistaken, you just couldn't have certain rights applied to you.
Let's first deal with what they mean.
Okay.
When someone in the world says someone else is a bastard, what they mean is that this child was had out of wedlock. That's what they mean.
Okay.
Meaning, if you're a man, you got a woman, you're married to this woman. If you have a child with another woman, that child is a bastard. If you're a man who has a child with a woman who you have never gotten a marriage license with or a ring, according to people in the world, that child is a bastard. So, of course, is Blake Griffin married to these women? Okay, then bastard to someone in the world would mean he's not married. He doesn't have a ring, a marriage certificate. Everyone has heard of this before, correct? That's what a bastard is traditionally in America, a child born out of wedlock. If your mother and your father are not married, you are a bastard. Good to go. Now, what is an actual bastard? An actual bastard in the Bible is a child rejected of the father or a nation rejected of the father. The Bible says a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Ashdod is the land of Israel, right? It's a place in Israel. Who is the bastard that dwells in Ashdod? The people of Edom. They are rejected by God. That's in the book of Romans. So the white man is a bastard. Who else? Where else do bastards dwell? In the land of Mizraim or the land of Ham. That's the Africans. They are rejected by their father Noah. Rejected by Noah. Remember when Ham laughed and mocked his father when his father was drunk and naked. And Shem walked into the tent backwards and covered his father's nakedness. And the father, when he came out of his drunkenness, cursed his son Ham, made him a bastard because he mocked him instead of having pity on his father. So all the African races, all of them are bastards. They're rejected of their father. Now, how can someone who's an Israelite be a bastard?
Not keeping the law.
When you don't keep the laws, the father rejects you. That's why you're here in America, and you came here on slave ships. And the father did not notice or care about your pain because he closed his eyes to your suffering because you are rejected of your father. Every Israelite who does not keep the law is a bastard. Now, what did Christ die to do? Christ is be on topic. Christ is you got to study adoption. You got to study adoption. That's why he's called the adoption in the New Testament, because he adopted us back to our father. We were rejected. We are cast off from the commonwealth of Israel. He threw us away. Christ died for him to accept us back, and that's why he is called the adoption. You understand? So every Israelite that keeps the law, that gives up pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, homosexuality, child molestation, you come back to the Father. That's why Christ pioneered the concept by even calling him Abba, Father. That was the point. Christ always said it because he was trying to make you understand that you're a bastard now, but you can be accepted back to your Father. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. He was trying to make us all understand that he rejects us now, but he will accept us back. You get my point, all right? Next topic. Let me get Zaahb.
I was arguing with a Christian, right? And they was talking about the thou shalt not judge, right? Thou shalt not, yeah, concert. So I was wondering how to explain to it when the priest would judge. You know what I mean? Because then the priest will have to keep the law too. So I had a problem trying to coincide those two together, and I had to just go to the judge not according to their parents, judge righteous judgment. But I couldn't pinpoint.
You couldn't pinpoint what?
For how a priest would apply thou shalt not judge.
I got you. Go ahead.
If I may, sir, thou shalt not judge. isn't talking about me literally, isn't talking about like what's called thou shalt not judge, is talking about unlawful people judging, like the priests of Christ's time, which were wicked, they couldn't judge, and the people what's called who were under Christ, they were being fixed, so you didn't have the right to judge.
Precept.
You were Salakia, not off the top of my head, Salakia.
Precept for what he just said. For what he just said. This is the scripture breakdown class. You heard him say it. Is there a precept that proves what he just said?
You take tithes, omit an answer, you omit the weightier matters of the law.
That's
judgment,
not what he
mercy.
just said. He just said that an unrighteous judge didn't have the right to judge, but the righteous priest had the right to judge.
Why cast ye the mot out of your brother's eye? First cast ye the raft out of your eye, then.
I'll take that as number 2. Go ahead.
Psalms 82.
No.
Come on.
Whosoever is without sin, cast the first stone. When they all left, he went to the woman and said, where are thy accusers? She said, my Lord, they have all left. He said, I will not judge thee either. He is the one that could have